Have you ever sat at a holiday table, smiling on the outside, while everything inside you just shattered? Thanksgiving 2023. The smell of turkey and pumpkin pie filled the house like it always did. Mom was humming in the kitchen. Dad was carving the bird with that same old electric knife he's had since the 90s. My kids were chasing each other around the living room, laughing. And there she was, my older sister Claire, sitting at the head of the table like she already owned the place. I should have seen the signs. I really should have. Growing up, Claire was always the golden child. Straight A's, college scholarship, married the perfect guy, 2 perfect kids, the big house in the suburbs. I was the other one. The one who got pregnant at 19, dropped out of college, worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Mom and Dad never said it out loud, but you could feel it. Claire was their pride, and I was the cautionary tale. But I never resented her. Not really. I loved my sister. I looked up to her. Every time life kicked me down, she was the one who picked me up. When my ex walked out and left me with 2 toddlers and $37 in the bank, Claire let us move into the basement of their house for 8 whole months. She never asked for rent. She just said, "That's what family does." So when Mom and Dad started getting older, Dad's memory slipping, Mom's hands shaking from arthritis, I wasn't surprised when they asked me to move back home. They needed help. Claire lived 45 minutes away and was always so busy with the kids' activities. That's what she said every time. So I left my tiny apartment, packed up my now teenage kids, and moved back into my childhood bedroom. I cooked, I cleaned. I drove Dad to doctor appointments. I sat with Mom at 3 in the morning when she cried because she couldn't remember where she put her glasses. I gave up my life to take care of them. And I did it gladly, because they were my parents. But that Thanksgiving, something felt off from the second Claire walked in. She was smiling too big, hugging Mom too tight, pouring Dad's wine like she was already the hostess. And then she raised her glass. "To family," Claire said, her voice sweet as the cranberry sauce. Everyone raised their glasses. Even my 14-year-old son stopped scrolling on his phone long enough to join in. Claire kept standing. "Actually," she said, "I have some exciting news." My stomach tightened. I don't know why, just a feeling. She reached into her designer purse and pulled out a thick folder, placed it on the table like she was serving dessert. "Mom and Dad asked me to help them update their estate plan," she said, beaming. "And after a lot of long talks, they've decided to simplify everything." Mom nodded weakly. Dad just stared at his plate. Claire opened the folder and slid a document across the table toward me. My name wasn't on it. I scanned the page. My heart started pounding so loud I could barely hear her voice. "So the house, the savings, the retirement accounts, everything will go directly to me and Mark when the time comes. It just makes sense. We have the space, the resources, and..." She looked right at me and smiled like she was doing me a favor. "Emily, you get nothing." The room went dead silent. My daughter dropped her fork. It clanged against the plate like a gunshot. I stared at the paper, then at my parents. "Mom?" My voice cracked. "Dad, is this real?" Mom wouldn't look at me. Dad just mumbled something about what's best for everyone. Claire kept talking. Something about how I already had so much on my plate, and how this would relieve me of the burden. I felt the tears coming, hot and furious, but I swallowed them. Because right then, in that moment, I saw it. The smirk, just for a second. A tiny curl at the corner of Claire's perfect lips. She wasn't relieving me of anything. She was taking everything, and she was enjoying it. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, not in front of them. I just stood up, took my kids by the hand, and walked out. We drove home in silence. My daughter asked if Grandma and Grandpa were okay. My son stared out the window the whole ride. That night, I sat on the edge of my childhood bed, the same one I'd slept in since I was 6, and I read every page of that new will. It was real. Signed 2 weeks earlier, witnessed by Claire's best friend who just happened to be a notary. Mom and Dad had changed everything while I was at the grocery store buying ingredients for the Thanksgiving dinner I cooked. I felt like I couldn't breathe. For 16 years, I had been the one here, changing diapers, theirs and my kids, holding Mom's hand through chemo scares, sleeping on the floor beside Dad's bed when he had pneumonia. And Claire? She showed up for birthdays and Christmas with expensive gifts and left before the dishes were done. But I still couldn't believe my parents would do this. So the next morning, I sat them down. "Mom, Dad, talk to me. Why?" Mom started crying. Dad looked confused. Claire had been visiting alone while I was at work, telling them I was overwhelmed, that I couldn't handle the responsibility, that I was talking about moving out anyway. She twisted everything. She told them I was jealous of her life, that I made comments about their money, that I only moved back in to get my hands on the house. Every lie perfectly placed, like poison dripping slow. And they believed her. Because Claire never lied. Claire was perfect. I was the screw-up. By the time I found out, the lawyer said it was airtight. I called Claire that night. She answered on the first ring, cheerful as ever. "Emily, I know you're upset." "Upset?" I laughed, but it came out broken. "You stole my home." "Technically, it was never yours," she said, calm, cold. "And let's be honest, you can't even take care of yourself. How were you going to manage a house?" I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. But that was the moment the old Emily died, and something darker woke up. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I just kept thinking, there has to be more. Claire doesn't do anything without covering every angle. So I started looking. First, the lawyer, Richard Harrington, old family friend. Of course, Claire picked him. I called his office pretending to be Claire. The receptionist put me right through. "Claire, honey, everything okay with the trust?" Trust? There wasn't just a new will. There was a revocable living trust. And Claire was the sole trustee. That meant even if Mom and Dad changed their minds later, Claire could block it. I felt sick. Then I remembered something. Mom kept a fire safe under her bed. She always said, if anything happens to us, everything important is in here. I waited until they were both asleep, opened it with the spare key she kept in her jewelry box. Inside, birth certificates, deeds, and a yellow legal pad. On it, in Mom's shaky handwriting, were notes from meetings with Claire. Claire says Emily is unstable. Claire says Emily threatened to put us in a home. Claire says it's safer this way. Every line was a knife. But at the bottom of the pad, something else. A phone number I didn't recognize. And the words, "Call if anything feels wrong." I called it at 2 a.m. An older woman answered, groggy. "This is Margaret Price," she said. "Who is this?" I told her my name, told her about the safe. She went quiet, then, "Your mother was my client first, before Claire got involved. Your parents came to me 2 years ago wanting to split everything 50-50. They were worried about you being alone." My heart stopped. "Claire found out," Margaret continued. "She came to my office, threatened to report me to the bar if I didn't step aside, said she had proof I was taking advantage of elderly clients." She paused. "I'm semi-retired now, but I kept copies of the original documents. If you want them, I'll send them." I cried on the phone with a stranger at 2 a.m. because for the first time in weeks, I had hope. I didn't want to destroy Claire. I just wanted what was mine. But the more I uncovered, the clearer it became. Claire didn't just want the house. She wanted to erase me. I found emails, hundreds of them. Claire telling mutual friends I was unhinged, that I was using our parents. She even started a private Facebook group called Prayers for Mom and Dad, where she posted updates like I was some kind of villain. She was building a story, a perfect public story where she was the hero daughter and I was the greedy black sheep. So I decided to beat her at her own game. Step 1, I moved out, quietly. Told Mom and Dad I needed space to process. They looked relieved. Claire thought she'd won. Step 2, I got a job, a good one. Executive assistant at a law firm. Ironic, right? The senior partner heard my story during the interview and hired me on the spot. He said, "We're going to fix this." Step 3, I documented everything. Every lie, every forged signature, every threatening email Claire sent to Margaret. And step 4, the one that kept me awake at night. I started recording. Every phone call with Claire, every visit to Mom and Dad, all legal in my state, one-party consent. And Claire, she couldn't help herself. She bragged about how easy it was to manipulate them, about how I never deserved anything anyway, about how the house was already in escrow, under the table, to a developer who was paying her a fat finder's fee. She was selling my childhood home before my parents were even gone. That was the last straw. Christmas Eve, 1 month after Thanksgiving. Claire insisted on hosting this time. "A fresh start," she said. I showed up with a smile and a bottle of wine. and a tiny recorder in my pocket. The whole family was there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even Claire's in-laws. Dinner was perfect. Too perfect. After dessert, Claire stood up again, same move as Thanksgiving. "I just want to thank everyone for supporting Mom and Dad through this difficult time," she said, dabbing fake tears. "Especially with certain family members causing so much stress." She looked right at me. That was my cue. I stood up slowly. "Actually," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "I have a Christmas gift too." I pulled out my phone, connected it to the living room speaker Claire was so proud of, and I played the recordings. Every single one. Claire bragging about forging Mom's signature. Claire laughing about how senile Dad was. Claire talking about the $150,000 kickback from the developer. The room went colder than the snow outside. Claire's face turned white. "Turn it off!" she screamed. "That's illegal!" "Actually," I said calmly, "it's not. And neither is this." I passed out folders to every adult in the room. Inside, the original will from Margaret Price. Bank statements showing Claire transferring money from Mom and Dad's accounts into her own. Emails, texts, everything. Claire lunged for my phone. Her husband grabbed her arm. Mom was sobbing. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. I looked at Claire, really looked at her. "You wanted to erase me," I said quietly. "But you forgot one thing. I was never the weak one." Claire lost everything that night. Not the house yet, but her reputation, her perfect life. By New Year's, 3 aunts had cut her off. Her mother-in-law stopped speaking to her. The developer backed out when he heard the recordings. He didn't want fraud charges. The lawyer, Richard Harrington, he returned suddenly after I paid him a visit with my new boss. Mom and Dad changed the will back, 50-50, the way it was always meant to be. Claire tried to fight it, hired lawyers, screamed about defamation, but when you have 47 minutes of recorded confessions, it's hard to win. She ended up settling, gave up all claim to the house, paid back every cent she took, and then she disappeared, moved 3 states away. New name on social media, like she could outrun what she did. But the internet doesn't forget. Someone uploaded the Christmas recordings, anonymously, of course. They went viral in certain family drama corners of the internet. Last I heard, Claire's husband filed for divorce. Karma doesn't always need help, but sometimes she likes an assist. People ask me if I feel bad. Do I miss my sister? And the truth is, I miss who I thought she was. I miss the Claire who braided my hair when we were kids, who let me cry on her shoulder when my ex left, who I believed loved me. That Claire never existed. Or maybe she did, once. And somewhere along the way, jealousy turned her into someone I didn't recognize. But here's what I learned. Family isn't just blood. It's who shows up, who sacrifices, who loves you when you have nothing left to give back. I thought giving everything would protect me. It almost cost me everything. Never let someone, anyone, make you feel like you don't deserve what you've earned. And if they try, document everything. Because the truth doesn't scream. It just waits, patiently, until the perfect moment to speak. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted most, this one was for you. Hit that subscribe button if you believe family should mean loyalty, not lies. And I'll see you in the next story. Because revenge might be sweet, but justice is peace.